up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to do a comparison of the X-Transbots Eligos metallic version with the FansToys Quietus T version or Tune version. These figures came out about a year apart. This is from 2021. This is from 2022. It just came out now. So I wanted to redo this comparison. I actually did one way back when. Not really happy with that whole video. Plus they've changed this figure significantly. So they painted it fully and it really does look good. And they also fixed some of the tolerances and issues that it had way back when. So it makes sense to redo this. Now, as I always mention with these comparisons, I try to be as objective as possible, but of course there's subjectivity involved when you're judging things like this. So if I pick one and you prefer the other, then you win. I really try to do these comparisons to help people decide what direction they want to go with their collections. Oftentimes people end up buying both. So either way, it helps people decide whether they want to buy one or the other or both. So with that being said, let's get started with the comparison, and we'll start off with accessories. So there are all the accessories you get. There's a ton here, so we'll go through them individually. They both come with a bigger rifle, obviously different colors and looks, but similar. They both come with a shorter gun here, again, styled similarly. They both come with swords. Now the FansToys comes with 2 swords, whereas the X-Transbots come with 1, but they are, again, styled similarly, just different lengths. There's a short sword, so we'll call these 2 even. They both come with a target master, again similarly styled. I do prefer the FansToys just due to the paint, but equal on that. They both come with alternate IDW heads here. The FansToys does come with an alternate broken horn, which happened in the IDW comics. So if you want the broken horn, you can have that, or you can have the fixed horn. But either way, they both come with the horns. This definitely has a different look, because it's got the horns out the front, whereas the FansToys has them out the top. And you can actually move these horns. The X-Transbots, you can't move the horns. But anyway, we're going to call these even since they both have the head. And the FansToys comes with these side pieces, which allow you to make this look more like the IDW with the kind of samurai look for the side of the legs. And it will allow you to store the swords. Whereas the X-Transbots comes with a stand and an adapter to display it in vehicle mode. So I'm just going to call these even. Now, they're not really the same thing, but I got to kind of count them off. And here's what we're left with, the FansToys. And I'm going to put this with the hip skirts there. FansToys has 3 faces alternate that you can put on, different expressions, whereas the X-Transbots got 7. So we'll cut off 3. And here's what we're left with. We get an extra sword for FansToys, and X-Transbots ends up with the little minifigure and then these extra faces. So we're going to call it for X-Transbots. They do have more accessories, and the minifigure definitely is a nice added bonus. So we'll give accessories to X-Transbots. All right, next we'll talk about gimmicks on these 2, and they have a very similar gimmicks. They both have the opening cockpits in the jet mode. They both can use the target masters and transform them and then hold them. So that's all the same. What's different really is the X-Transbots comes with a stand, so you can display it in the flight mode. Now I already gave them accessories, but the fact that you can use this, and then the fact that this little minifigure can fit in the cockpit and fly inside the jet mode, that's a really cool little gimmick. So I'm going to give gimmicks over to X-Transbots. They went the extra mile and gave us that little thing to have it in jet mode. All right, next we'll talk about the cartoon accuracy on these 2. In order to do that, we'll put the G1 cartoon there so you can take a look for yourself. And these both really do a good job. Now, my particular cartoon image, it changed. Cyclone has changed so many times during the cartoon, during the movie, but based on the image I have here, it does look like the colors on the X-Transbots are much closer in terms of the hue. FansToys went with more of a pink. Now, the original Quietus was white here, so I just went with the ones that they claim are their more tune-accurate ones. Now, so I don't think the pink is as close to this image I have anyway. And then the blue or the purple here is more of a bluish purple than a purplish purple. Whereas this one seems to match the cartoon better, and then the white they used here is kind of a lavender. That really is close to the cartoon as well. The other thing that FansToys did is they went for a more, I guess, mature or like upscale look. They put some translucent pieces here. They went for a metallic, more metallic shine to their paint. And while it does look really good, I love the look of the FansToys. This definitely nails that cartoon look a little bit better. Now, where FansToys does better is the proportions. The X-Transbots is really wide in the legs. A lot of people say that the X-Transbots looks like FansToys before they went on a diet, and it's still true. In person, in hand, it really looks bigger. I mean, every dimension is bigger on the X-Transbots. It's wider this way, it's wider this way. The back even, is just a little more bulky. They both clean up pretty nice. X-Transbots nice and clean back here, and so is FansToys, but the backpack is bigger and bulkier on the X-Transbots. They are clean, so it's fine, but I'm just saying they cleans up a little bit better and more svelte on the FansToys. I'm going to give them a tie here on cartoon accuracy. They both do things well. Next, we'll talk about the sculpt on these two, and it's kind of interesting because both of them are pretty clean all throughout. I did mention the backpack on the X-Transbots is a little bit bulkier, but it is still clean back here. There's only little bits here and there that are not clean. But overall, both of them are pretty clean. FansToys does a lot of more holes and stuff on the back, but from the front and the sides, they're both pretty similar in terms of their sculpt. So not really much to differentiate them. Now, I do prefer the proportions of this, but we did talk about that during cartoon accuracy. So we're going to give them a tie on sculpt. Next, we'll talk about the paint on these two. And now X-Transbots has a chance to win this category. The initial one, the first release of this guy was not fully painted. This one is fully painted. The paint is done well. I have transformed this 2 times, so it's fine. It doesn't seem to be scraping off or be cheap or anything. FansToys also 100% fully painted, with exception to these little translucent pieces. So both have good paint. Both are fully painted. We're going to give them a tie on paint. Next, we'll talk about the build quality on these two. And in my original comparison, the X-Transbots lost this one because they had some quality issues, specifically in the legs and some of the plastics and overall some of the tolerances. They fixed a lot of that here. It's still a little bit frustrating. We'll talk about that when we get to transformation, but they have fixed a lot of those kinds of issues here. So I don't seem to have any of those quality or QC issues. But overall, I still feel that FansToys, in terms of the build quality, they've used more die-cast, more ratchets. Overall, there's a lot more higher quality build joints and pieces. It does feel better in hand as well. Some of the plastics on here, while they are better than the original, still don't compare. So it's really close here. I think they definitely improved the build quality on this release, but I'm going to give it to FansToys. I think they just overall are really good at their build quality. Next, we'll talk about articulation. In order to do that, we'll articulate each one individually so you can see for yourself. On the X-Transbots, the head rotates around. Now this head is a little bit different. The neck nut is different than the original, but it goes down to there. It does actually look down. The ears do articulate here in and out, and you can rotate the head all the way around. The shoulders rotate around. It's a very soft ratchet. There's a ratchet in there, but it's very soft. It goes out to the side here. If you keep going, you can't actually lift these up, but to go back down, you want to push that down, and it goes down. You have a rotation at the bicep. It does break the sculpt, but you can rotate it there. You do have a double jointed elbow. It just sometimes gets stuck. It's a little bit strange the way it works. This came out there, but you can get it all the way. There is a cover down piece here. If you go too far, it looks a little awkward, but getting it back, sometimes it gets stuck. So you just want to push that in, and it's just a little weird how it works, but you do get that full bend out of that elbow. You have a rotation at the wrist. Now it's very tight on this copy, so I would hold here, but you can rotate that wrist all the way around. It's nice and tight. The fingers are pinned. Thank God they didn't do the ball jointed fingers. These are nice. They do splay out. And there are 1, 2, 3 pins. And then the thumb is on a ball joint. You can get that up and out. And there's a single pin in the middle. So nice articulation on those hands. You have a rotation at the waist. It's ratcheted. So you get 2 clicks in each direction. That's nice. No ab crunch. Oh, yeah, no ab crunch on these guys. Just wanted to make sure. You have a hip skirt here. The legs go up to there on a ratchet. It's, again, a soft ratchet. I'm not sure why, but it just feels a little funny. Actually, I guess it is a regular ratchet. It goes up to there, back to there, out to the side. Rotation at the thigh. It's very, very tight, but it does rotate. Single jointed knee gets you 90 degrees. Ankle tilt all the way out to there. And you do get a little bit of forward and back, but it's kind of limited. The toe does go down, but due to the way this is designed, it does kind of collide. And then you have heel spurs back here. You can push those in if you want to. But there's the articulation for X-Transbots. For FansToys, you have the head on a rotating swivel, so it rotates all the way around, goes down to there, up to there, and the ears do go in and out. You have rotation on the shoulder on a ratchet, goes out to the side on this joint here, and lifts up and out of the way. Rotation at the bicep. You have a double jointed elbow, gets you almost a full bend. Rotation at the wrist. Typical FansToys, hands here on 1, 2, 3 pins for each finger, and then the thumb is on a ball joint with a single pin in the middle. And I always like these FansToys hand, but they did a good job on these too. So you don't really get a waist swivel on this one unless you unpeg this from back here. Once you do that, you do get 2 clicks. So same as X-Transbots, you do have to unpeg this though from the back. Not a big deal, but I just wanted to mention that. You do get hip skirts here. Now they are a little weird the way they work. Let's see. I think they rotate up. Yeah, they rotate up another way. The legs can go up to there on a ratchet, back to there on a ratchet. Again, you can lift this up another way. Out to the side on friction. Rotation at the thigh. You get a double jointed knee, gets you the full bend all the way. Ankle tilt. You do get a toe tilt down, but no pivot forward. So they are really, really close in articulation, but FansToys is going to take it just with the double jointed knee. Other than that, man, they are so close, but because of that double jointed knee, we're going to give articulation over to FansToys. Right, next, we'll talk about the transformation on these two guys. And in the original comparison I did, this guy was really frustrating to transform. Now, they have improved some things. It is a little bit better, but it's still the same overall design. It's still the same overall transformation. This one is also a little bit tough. I mean, it is a frustrating transformation, but you don't have to bend plastic past plastic. You still need to do that with the X-Transbots. They have improved it, but you still have to do that. So because you have to bend the plastic in order to transform it, I'm going to give transformation over to FansToys. I think they just have a more elegant and smooth transformation. It is involved, but it's not plastic bending. Now, as far as engineering, I'm going to give them basically a tie. I think they both get to the alt mode in very similar ways. They have very similar transformation design, meaning like the hands going into the boosters, all of that. There's a lot of similar stuff going on. So I'm going to give them a tie in engineering, but I'll give transformation over to FansToys. So there they both are in their alt modes. Both really nice looking jets. Definitely different takes on Cyclonus. Let's put the cartoon image there. And for me personally, the FansToys proportions overall, it's got the little bit longer wings, a little bit sleeker of a look here, and then a longer nose cone. Seems to fit better with the cartoon than the X-Transbots. It's got the kind of stubbier wings, the shorter nose cone, and then kind of the fatter body there. So as far as the look, the proportions, I think the FansToys does look better. And as far as the gimmicks and what it can do, they both have the opening cockpits here. The X-Transbots does have the little pilot, and you can take the pilot and put it in there. His Galvatron, of course, and he can sit inside the cockpit. Now, I gave them gimmicks already as far as being able to do that, so that's pretty cool. As far as the alt mode goes, me personally, I think the FansToys alt mode just looks better overall, matches the cartoon better, and it seems to be just cleaner. So we're going to give alt mode to FansToys. And the final factor on these two is the cost. X-Transbots is available actually right now for $175. The FansToys reissue is available also right now for $220. So X-Transbots going to win on cost. So final thoughts on comparison, you can see the score there, and FansToys is going to win this one by 1 point. Really close here. And I am a little surprised, but not after I saw the improved quality in this guy. They did do some things to try to compete here. So number one, they gave you a bunch new accessories. They give the IDW head. They give some new face sculpts. They give you the sword. They've improved the quality. They added a bunch of paint. I mean, they really did a lot to come along and make this figure better. And it does stand toe-to-toe with FansToys now. Now, depends what you want in your collection. Me, personally, I still like the look and the overall aesthetic of FansToys. So this is going to still be my Cyclonus. It's one of my favorite figures ever from FansToys. But this is definitely a contender. It's definitely up there for best masterpiece figures from X-Transbots. Me personally, I'm going to stick with FansToys, but either of these are really good options. I commend X-Transbots for doing this improvement on this guy. So either of these is a really good choice. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.